Yo, 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 what is going on, my fellow wrestling fans across the world? Welcome to a brand new week, and welcome to a post Royal Rumble edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions, where we dive headfirst into all the controversy, storylines, personalities, and everything in between that center around this world we know and love as professional wrestling. For better or worse, I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka Kurt GPT, the moral conscience of America in the flesh as always. And my co-host needs no introduction, but the hell with it. He's gonna give y'all one anyway.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is John Randall, your tag team partner, the Avenger himself, and welcome to our recap show from a monumental Royal Rumble this past Saturday and a wonderful Monday Night Raw that we just had. But before that, we'll get into Royal Rumble. We had a great Royal Rumble event and so much to get into.
Yes, we did have the Royal Rumble take place this past Saturday from Saudi Arabia, 2 p.m. start time for me and 11 a.m. start time for you. And the show started with the Women's Royal Rumble match. And coming out at number one was Charlotte Flair, last year's winner. And coming out at number two was her tag team partner / BFF, Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, it's kind of very interesting when you have two friends, tag team partners or friends that start off in the Royal Rumble match. This is not the first time we've seen something like this before.
First time we saw it was in 1989 when Axe and Smash of Demolition drew number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But the only difference in this case, was the fact that Axe and Smash actually fought each other in those first 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll never forget. I remember watching the '89 Rumble and Axe and Smash drew their numbers before the show. I think they just both looked at the numbers and they're like, "Damn, this is gonna be interesting."
Yeah.
But this Charlotte and Alexa thing, I don't know what the hell they were doing, but this was not what the Royal Rumble is about because it's every woman for themselves, and they were doing some real whack shit in that 2-minute period until the next person came out.
Exactly.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, then Nia Jax came out, Jordan Grace came out, Liv Morgan came out, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, you name it. Everybody was out there, Lash Legend. And there was one point where Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax fell over the top rope and they were on the apron, and Charlotte Flair knocked Nia Jax off the apron, but as she did that, she accidentally knocked Alexa Bliss off the apron, and Alexa Bliss was eliminated.
Yeah, one of the highlights of that from that match, though, you see two tag team partners pretty much want to be on the same page with each other, though, but accidentally, Charlotte Flair eliminates her BFF or tag team partner, whatever you want to call it, Alexa Bliss. And the look on her face said it all, but it is what it is. Hey, it's every woman for herself.
Yeah, I think that's a few we're probably going to see in the next few months. But moving on, we also had Becky Lynch, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, come out. And I have to say, the way she was just eliminated randomly by Natty with no real story to it and no real real spice to it. It was just, very anticlimactic and very underwhelming because you kind of expected maybe AJ Lee to enter the Rumble also an eliminator, but that didn't happen. So yeah, for the way they just used Becky in this, how she was barely in it and she just got tossed out so unceremoniously, it was a bit of a waste.
A little bit, yeah. And also, I know you hate to say I know that you were kind of disappointed though, but no Bianca Belair.
Yes. Unfortunately, Bianca Belair was not in the match. I know she wasn't, announced to be in it, but you figured that maybe she would be a surprise entrant. And yes, that did not happen. So from the looks of things, it's looking like her knuckle injury is much worse than most of us thought, probably her included.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early. I mean, let's hope. Hopefully, she could, be here for WrestleMania though. But she was not at the Royal Rumble, unfortunately. So.
No, she was not. Yeah, there weren't really a lot of surprises as far as the women go in the Rumble, except for one that came towards the latter part of it. So as the Rumble was going on towards the latter part of it, one person who came out to join her sister Nikki Bella was the return of Brie Bella.
Yeah, that got a pop.
Got one of the hottest. Yeah, got one of the biggest pops of the night.
It did.
Yeah, so Brie Bella was in there with her sister. They teamed up for a little bit. They even eliminated Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. So that should probably lead to a match down the road. They did that. They had that going on. And one person who actually stood out in this Rumble match, I have to say, was Lash Legend.
Yeah. Did she get the most eliminations, or did she was in the match the longest? If I remember, she had the most eliminations, correct?
Yeah, she had the record for the most eliminations this year as she eliminated 5 people, which
Mm.
included the Bella Twins. The Bella Twins were eventually eliminated by her. She also eliminated Jordan Grace. She eliminated Charlotte Flair, who had the record for the longest time in the Rumble match this year at
Oh,
50 minutes.
that's right.
And she eliminated Io Sky.
Yeah. Wow. So you could say
Impressive performance.
Pretty much the MVP from the women's Royal Rumble match was Lash Legend. That is amazing.
Yeah, she was one of the MVPs until eventually she was eliminated by Rhea Ripley. Also, I did like how Rhea Ripley eliminated Chelsea Green and also like Alba Fire as she kept like trying to sneak into the match. And then Rhea Ripley hit Roxanne Perez with a razor's edge over the top rope onto Chelsea Green and Alba Fire.
Wow.
Nasty.
Brutal.
We're going to get into Chelsea Green a little later after what Michael
Hayes.
Hayes said about her on the Unreal show. Yeah, we're going to get into that later. I can't wait to dive into that, but that's another story for another time. So yeah, the Rumble match progresses. Asuka and Kyrie are in the match, and then Kyrie tries to save Asuka from being eliminated, and it seems like she succeeded at one point, but then she gets knocked into Asuka as she's like hanging from like the apron, and Asuka ends up getting eliminated.
Wow.
Damn. Well, I don't feel bad because Asuka's an asshole on TV, so I just kind of had it coming.
I know. It is what it is. But
yeah, so it gets down to the nitty gritty. It gets down to the last few, and actually coming in at number 30 was the returning Tiffany Stratton.
Wow.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton made a return for the first time since she lost her women's title to Jade Cargill a couple months ago. And it's so funny, by the time the number 30 entrant came out, there was only 15 eliminations by that point. Yeah, weird. Yeah, the first half of this Rumble like really went by slow. Like the first half of this Rumble like really dragged, I'll be honest.
I can feel it too, and then it started to pick up towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, like once people actually started getting eliminated, like in those last few minutes, it got a lot better.
Yeah.
And one of the nastiest eliminations I saw throughout the match was Raquel Rodriguez eliminating Rhea Ripley as she hit her with a Tejana bomb over the top rope, but Rhea Ripley's back hit the apron hard when she went down.
Damn.
Oof. You could tell she was in pain when that happened.
Damn.
Oof. And as Raquel Rodriguez is like gloating about eliminating Rhea Ripley the way she did and distracted, her BFF, Liv Morgan, dunked her over the top rope and eliminated her.
Every woman for herself, but that was a discussion that will be brought up the following Monday, which we'll get into later, though. But yeah.
Yeah, the look on Raquel's face was priceless when she saw that Liv eliminated her. Yeah, you could definitely tell that she was ready to rip her ass apart, but admittedly so, it is every woman for herself. So Raquel would have probably done the same thing if she was in Liv's shoes, but
yeah,
we'll get that into that a little bit later. So it comes down to Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, and also Sol Ruka, who also had a very strong performance in this Rumble match. She was also in it for a long time and looked great.
Forgot about her. Completely forgot about her. Yeah, she was in that match. Yeah, did pretty well. She lasted long. She was like one of the last four, like you said.
Yeah, she was one of the last few in there, and then all three of them went over the top rope and were on the apron. This always seems to happen when Liv Morgan's like one of the last few in the Rumble match. It's like a third time this has happened in 4 years. But in any event, yeah, so Liv Morgan, Sol Ruka, and Tiffany Stratton are all on the apron as they went over the top rope. Sol Ruka tries to jump to the top of the post to do like that soul snatcher move, but then Tiffany Stratton pushes her off and she falls to the floor, so her night is over. And then Liv and Tiffany Stratton are fighting on the apron. And then Liv does an oblivion to Tiffany Stratton on the apron and knocks her down to the floor. And that was all she wrote. Liv Morgan is your 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner. And she is now officially going to WrestleMania for title shots.
We both called it. We both said that, hey, if Bianca Belair is not going to be in it, you know what I mean? Liv Morgan is the right person to do, and who other than her to do it? She deserves it. Her coming back a couple months ago was great, but you're in the new year. You got to make a stamp for yourself, and she did it in a big way. She is now your women's Royal Rumble, and she's going to WrestleMania. to compete for the title of her choosing. So we already know who, though, but which we'll get into later, though. But yeah, well deserved. She was like the right person to win this match.
Yeah, I was really happy for her because she's been in the main roster for years, and she kind of like really worked her way up from being in the Riot Squad to like doing her own solo thing as a babyface for a few years. She won Money in the Bank and then won the title back in 2022, but it didn't really go too far. And then right when this feud with Rhea started 2 years ago, that like just took her to a whole nother level, and she's been on that level ever since. And it just was very gratifying as somebody seeing her come up for all these years to see her like finally get this big moment and win the Rumble for the first time after being the runner up like 2 of the last 3 years. And in the same exact circumstances, she finally wins it this year. Yeah, I was thrilled. It was one of the more satisfying Rumble wins I've seen for the women probably ever. And yeah, there was nobody
Yeah.
more deserving than her. I did like seeing how emotional she got. Like, when the cameras were not on her, you could like definitely tell she was crying
Mm-hmm.
and, overwhelmed by what happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy that it went down that way. I picked her to win. Actually, when she got injured, I figured she would come back as a babyface. But from the looks of things, she's too good as a heel to turn her babyface. So I
Oh,
get it.
she's a better,
Yeah, but
she's a better heel than the babyface.
big time, especially that music, it just fits her vibe perfectly as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
But in any event, the one thing I did notice about this Rumble match that people pointed out was the fact that all of the women, because of the fact that they all had to like wear suits and like cover their whole bodies up, looked like they were all like about to go skydiving.
A few of them look like the Power Rangers.
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, I just hope they don't hold any more Royal Rumbles in Saudi because it was whack to have them all have to cover themselves up.
Yeah. And also, I feel like, for a big four PLE, you shouldn't have it in Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. Just leave that for a regular PLE, like Crown Jewel or something like that, or Night of Champions. Have that in Saudi Arabia, but not one of your big four. It's just, it doesn't fit well.
Nah, it doesn't at all. But in any event, Liv Morgan is your 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner. And yeah, I'm thrilled for it. I can't wait to see what happens with her on the road to WrestleMania. But in any event, let's get on to our next match. In a match in which AJ Styles would have to retire if he loses, AJ Styles went one-on-one with the ring general, Gunther.
Or also the career killer, Gunther.
Yes, and
Yeah.
this match had a lot of high stakes. I was on the edge of my seat for it myself. It was
Mm-hmm.
very physical, just like the match on Raw was a few weeks ago. And Gunther was laying it in to AJ Styles with those chops, those hard hits, anything you could think of. He was throwing it at Styles, but Styles would not give up.
Honestly, this match was better than their first match that they had on Raw. And the spots that they were doing were just absolutely amazing. The counters and everything when it came to that.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff. And there were like certain times where Styles looked like he was done, but he still kept on going, kept on fighting. And there was one point where he was standing on top of the shoulders of Gunther, and then he like jumped over him. But then as he jumped over him, Gunther trapped him in the sleeper. And then Styles was trapped in the sleeper for a while. He kept trying to escape and trying to get back up. And it kept looking like he was going to have a chance to get back up. But each time he tried, Gunther just trapped it back on again, kept like hitting him in the throat and trapped it back on. And eventually, Styles was trapped with nowhere to go, fading away in that sleeper. And eventually, the referee checked his hand to see if he can continue. And Styles showed no signs of life. And unfortunately, the referee had no choice but to stop the match and award Gunther the victory. And unfortunately, because of that, AJ Styles has now officially been retired.
Goldberg, John Cena, now AJ Styles. Damn. Yeah, that's the word. That's the expression. Damn. Sad. AJ Styles does get a standing ovation from the crowd, and it looks like, he's going to take his gloves off and leave his gloves in the middle of the ring. Kind of similar to what Undertaker did when he leaves his hat and his gloves back at WrestleMania 33, though. But no, he decides to keep his gloves on and, still, give the crowd another reason to get for a standing ovation. But yeah, it was very just a sad thing to see, man. You're kind of hoping that AJ Styles would be part of WrestleMania this year, and that was my concerns going into this event about the circumstances of if he's going to lose this match, he's not going to be at Mania. So I don't know, man. It was like a weird thing and a sad thing to see. Kind of funny how 10 years ago he makes his WWE debut at the same event, and then 10 years later, this is his last match in the WWE at the Royal Rumbles. But sad, man.
Yeah, it was definitely sad. You didn't think it was going to happen so soon, even though you knew like it would happen eventually this year. But to have it like happen at the
In
Royal
that
Rumble,
way,
like right at the start of the year,
yeah.
yeah, it was definitely something I didn't see coming.
Hmm.
But he still went out in a strong way. He got to have his last match at the same event he debuted at 10 years before, and a high quality match at that with Gunther. And yeah, it's sad that he's retiring. It's sad that he's done, but there was no stronger way for him to go out than the way that he went out here with a standing
I agree.
ovation, the love the crowd showed him. And I don't know exactly what this means from this point on. I'm not sure if he's going to maybe wrestle in TNA for a little bit, or maybe wrestle in Japan for a little bit, or maybe even make a appearance in AEW. But
I'm hearing that.
Triple H actually talked like after the Rumble was over. He mentioned that like he thought that Styles is going to stick around for longer too, but it ended up not working out that way. And he said that they've had discussions with Styles about possibly having a backstage job in WWE following this.
That would be cool. With his ring knowledge and like a match producer, I could definitely see that if he wants the job. That would be good for him if he wants it.
Yeah, so maybe he is actually done in the ring and he's just gonna work backstage from now on and not wrestle anymore, or maybe he is gonna go on his own retirement tour outside of WWE. Only
Yeah,
time will tell.
just recently he did had an interview on Stephanie McMahon's podcast.
It came out today. Yeah, I just saw
Yeah,
it came out today.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll see what he has to say because his contract does expire this month. So I don't know if he's gonna sign a new one as far as being a backstage person, or if he's just gonna let it expire and go do other things. But regardless, this was the last time we will ever see AJ Styles wrestle in a WWE ring, and I have to say, it was a pleasure and it was incredible to see him have the run that he had in WWE for the last 10 years. And to think like, people like him who are from like TNA and other places weren't even given a chance years before. And then for him to debut in WWE and have the incredible first year that he had at that,
yeah.
to have like a whole 10-year run with multiple championships, have so many great accomplishments and great moments. Yeah, it's definitely something worth celebrating. And I'm glad I got to be a part of it.
Same. I'm glad I actually got to see him wrestle in person.
Yeah, me too. I got to see him wrestle at a couple WrestleManias. I got to see him wrestle. I want. When was the last time I saw him wrestle in person? It's hard to. Honestly, one of the matches I got to see him wrestle in live that stands out to me was the match I got to see him have with John Cena at Madison Square Garden at a house show back in
Oh, okay.
2016.
I'm
Yeah,
proud to
that was a great
say
experience.
that I saw him wrestle John Cena for the first time at Money in the Bank 10 years ago. So,
Yeah, same summer.
um,
Yeah, it was same
mhm.
summer.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would toast to AJ Styles if I had a drink in my hand, but I don't, so I'll just use a cup of water. To AJ Styles for a hell of a career and good luck in the next phase of your life.
Got my cup of coffee right here. Cheers.
And thank you for everything you gave us as fans for all these years.
But damn it, Gunther, though. I told you this is going to put heat on him in a good way. And yeah, he is definitely the career killer. And we're going to see, where is this going to lead him going to WrestleMania. But damn, he's really making a name for himself now. So not saying that he hasn't, but I'm just saying this is like a new trend that he's going down the road now. Goldberg, John Cena, now AJ Styles. So this is really insane. Insane run that Gunther's on right now.
Very much so. But we move on. In a weird way, this was actually the come down match. The next match we're going to talk about for the WWE Championship, we had Drew McIntyre defending against Sami Zayn. Yeah, very weird that I have to refer to the WWE Championship match on a PLE as the come down match.
I mean, look, this match wasn't that bad. It was decent. It was good. The spots was good. Um, Look, it was good for Sami Zayn to be in this moment. Okay, look, you don't have no World Heavyweight Championship match. You have to put your other championship match in here. Do it. So yeah, and I think it was also good for Drew McIntyre. You know what I mean? So on this title run that he has, you have to put him in there. So hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was his first actual title defense, like on a PLE or like televised one at that. And yeah, Sami Zayn, he gets like that home. It's like his second home, Saudi Arabia. He always gets that big reaction when he comes out there. But I will say, like, this match didn't really have a lot of heat because of the fact that it was only made official the week before, and
Yeah.
they were only having the match because Sami Zayn was the number one contender. Like, they didn't have an actual feud going into it. But yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
match was still fine. Like, I didn't think the match was bad. I mean, the moves they did and the things they did in the match were good. But like I said, like there was just like no real like investment, like emotional investment, like the Gunther and AJ Styles match had.
No, there wasn't because, and also you got to remember, just in general for this whole event, there wasn't really much of a build up either. They just kind of did everything late when it came to everything for this event. So, yeah, there really
Yeah, they
wasn't a
did.
whole,
Yeah, big time.
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of writing into this match, sadly, like we wanted to. But at the same time, they still delivered. They still told the story in the ring, and pretty much, Gunther, got his Claiborne kicks, and you got the 1, 2, 3 cleanly,
Did you say
cleanly.
Gunther got it?
No,
Hey,
not
Gunther got his Claymore
McIntyre.
kick clean.
Sorry,
I didn't know
McIntyre.
Gunther did
My
the
bad.
Claymore kick.
McIntyre. Cleanly.
Okay, yeah, Drew McIntyre, yeah, ultimately hit Sammy with a Claymore kick, but that wasn't enough for him. So he hit him with another Claymore kick as Sammy was trying to get up, like right in the freaking face, knocking his ass out. And that was all she wrote. Drew McIntyre picked up the win, retained his championship. Surprise, surprise. And we'll see where he goes going into WrestleMania season. But I think
It's a big
we
question.
know where that's going to be.
Yeah, especially after what happened later that night. Ooh, oh my God. I got so much to talk about when it comes to that match.
Yes, but getting into the main event, we had the men's Royal Rumble taking place. And during the Royal Rumble kickoff show, Adam Pearce was sitting at the panel talking to everybody. And then Paul Heyman randomly confronts him about the fact that Bron Breakker drew number 2 in the Rumble match. And he was like getting in his face, and it became like this whole big thing. So, yes, the Rumble match started with Obafemi coming out as number 1 with his Dunkin' Donut Munchkins necklace that he was rocking. He came out as number 1.
Hey, but the dopest entrance ever. Come on, I love that guy now.
Yeah, it's a great entrance. Yo, that
Yeah.
presentation is incredible.
Hell yeah.
So he comes out as number 1. And at number 2, Bron Breakker, the man we both picked to win the Royal Rumble.
Number 2.
And damn,
Woo.
yeah, he came out. And damn, considering that we both picked him, how
How
wrong we would be with our predictions.
I mean, look. It's possible. That's a great story to tell. You come in at either number 1 or 2 and you win the Royal Rumble with the odds stacked against you, especially what's been going on the past couple of weeks between him and Adam Pearce. I mean, come on, it's a good story to tell. But you were right, Dan. We were wrong because as Bron Breakker was making his way to the ring, he gets attacked by an unknown Max Man.
Another damn masked man. How many freaking masked men do they have coming out around WWE? This is worse than the
And
damn Ghostface motherfuckers from Scream.
they got so many Max Men in rotation, just like the Ghostface people from Screen, man. Just so much in rotation. But yeah, this dude gets attacked. Bron Breakker gets attacked, and last but not least, he gets curb stomped.
Making everybody think it was possibly Seth Rollins under the black hoodie. Although Seth Rollins said he wasn't going to be there because he had daddy duties with his daughter.
Mm,
But who knows?
mm,
In any event, yeah, Breaker got
mm.
brutally attacked by this black man, like this black hoodie dude, and then black hoodie dude disappeared. So Breaker gets back into the ring, and right when he gets in, he gets eliminated by Obafemi.
Like just
Damn.
like that, crazy. Like that was like the shocker of the night. Like it was one of the shockers of the night because I was for a month. I was like, he's gonna win the Royal Rumble, and then just like that, less than a minute, he gets eliminated. I'm just like, well, damn, who's gonna win this now? I was just at complete shock. But
Yeah, I was surprised they went in this direction, and I did not see that coming at all. I
no,
seriously thought Breaker was like one of the heavy favorites, and they just had him get eliminated like that.
yeah, just like that
I just
in that fashion.
Well,
That's
considering
just.
that he's not going to be in the title match at WrestleMania this year anymore, they better have a damn good backup plan for him,
I think I
especially after
mean,
this.
yeah, I think I know what plan they're going, but we're not going to get into that though. But yeah, that is so crazy, man. But yeah, Obafemi, He, in my opinion, he was the MVP.
Yeah, he lasted the longest in the Rumble match, and he had a bunch of eliminations. He eliminated like
Five.
5 people in a row. He
Yep.
eliminated Rusev. He eliminated Rey Mysterio, among a few other people. Yeah, he was on a tear. Yeah, he lasted a hot
Yeah.
minute in this match.
He was on the tear until Brock Lesnar showed up.
Yeah, we'll get into Brock Lesnar in a few minutes, but we did have the appearance of El Grande Americano in the Rumble match. And right after him was original El Grande Americano coming out.
What
We
the
haven't seen in
hell?
6 months.
Yeah. What the hell? But hey, he recovered
Looking
and he's
jacked
back.
as ever.
Yeah.
So original Americano eliminated El Grande Americano. So that was that. We're definitely getting probably a mask versus mask match at WrestleMania from this, but it was cool to see the two of them interact with each other. It was definitely one of the better parts of the Rumble match, in all honesty.
Funny parts,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we had Cody Rhodes come in, we had Trick Williams come in, we had Jacob Fatu come in. It was great to see that Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes feud play out in the Rumble match as
Oh
well.
hell
And then
yeah. Ooh.
eventually we did have Brock Lesnar come in. Brock Lesnar went on a tear with his damn German suplexes, all that good stuff that he always does. And Ilya Dragunov was trying to chop the hell out of him multiple times, but Brock Lesnar was having none of it,
I
and he
don't
just
know.
threw
Threw
his
him
ass over
over
the top rope.
easily. Toss him like a bag of
Yeah,
potatoes.
threw his ass out like he was nothing. And then he did eliminate Obafemi, which was a bit of a disappointment considering how
Yeah.
dominant Obafemi was in the match. And also another surprise appearance we had in the Rumble match, the newest signee to WWE from AEW, Powerhouse Hobbs, now going under the name of Royce Keys.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. He made his Royal Rumble debut, yeah.
And his WWE debut with that. So yeah, he was in the
Mm-hmm.
Rumble match for a few minutes as well. I'm gonna see what happens with him in the next few months. And yeah, Brock Lesnar eliminates Obafemi with like no real story behind it. It's like very underwhelming, and
Well,
yeah,
they
not
were
much to it.
well, okay, so prior to that, they were kind of like somewhat telling a story between the two because they had a standoff a couple of times and then it got interrupted. And then when they finally got into it, yeah, Brock Lesnar was dominant, got some suplexes on him, but then Obafemi turned around and got a clothesline on him. But yeah, it ended up resulting in Brock Lesnar sadly eliminating him. I potentially could see these two going at it at WrestleMania with each other, from what I'm hearing, though. But yeah.
Yeah, it's very possible. Hopefully, it does happen, but we
Mm-hmm.
got to see in the next 2 months. And then Jay Uso comes out at one point, and as Jay Uso was making his entrance, Brock Lesnar gets double clothesline over the top rope and eliminated unceremoniously by Cody Rhodes. And also LA Knight, who had returned earlier in the Rumble match and attacked all the members of the Vision.
That was a
Got
shocker
to
too,
mention that.
though. I don't know, was the fact because Lesnar got eliminated, like kind of you could say like that early, or the fact that how he got eliminated.
It was whack. There was nothing to it. It was just random out of nowhere. There was no attention played to it, no story played to it. Yeah, it sucked. Obafemi would have been a better person to eliminate,
I
or Jacob
agree.
Fatu, than
Yeah,
just what they did there. That was whack. That was a
yeah,
very anticlimactic way to throw him out of there. And
I
yeah, I
agree.
thought he was gonna maybe attack Jey Uso afterwards or go back in the ring and start raising hell, but nothing. Yeah, he did jack shit afterwards.
I agree. It was just unceremoniously eliminated like that. I don't know, man.
Yeah, this Brock Lesnar return ever since he came back at SummerSlam, honestly, yeah, it's been pretty whack for the most part.
We're gonna see how it is for him going to WrestleMania. So
I don't even care if he's on the show or not, to be honest with you.
doesn't matter regardless of who he works with.
As I mean,
If it's
I would
Obafemi,
like to
you'll
think it
be
would.
invested.
Yeah, I will to a degree, as long as it's an actual like competitive good match, as opposed to like just being Brock Lesnar suplex spree and then just the F5 and that's it.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
so if they're gonna do that match, they better have some plans, which I think they will. But in any event, so the Rumble match goes on. We have Randy Orton come in, we have Penta come in, and the douchebag fuck Logan Paul was also in there. And then ultimately at number 30 coming into the Rumble was none
Gunther.
other than Gunther, the
Oh,
man
and
who
you forgot.
retired.
Also you forgot Roman Reigns came in earlier.
Yes, Roman Reigns had come in at some point. He was like kind of like yeeting with Jey Uso, acting like he was going to
Oh
feud with
yeah.
them until he ultimately attacked him because Jey Uso's dumbass decided to do the yeeting thing again in the middle of the damn Rumble match. So then
Thank you,
Roman
Roman
eventually
Reigns.
attacked him. Yeah, thank you, Roman Reigns. He eventually made good work of his cousin Jay and threw him out of the Rumble match. And Jey Uso would not be a back-to-back Rumble winner.
Look, I don't care about that. It's the fact that you were thinking about Eaton in the middle of a Royal Rumble match on your chance to go to WrestleMania. We don't have the time for that. Get that nonsense out of here.
Yeah,
Thank you, Roman Reigns, for
getting rid of his ass. Yeah,
yeah. Thank
that's
you.
the
Thank you
that's
for
the
that.
reason why he's not the champion anymore. That's the reason why he's not the champion anymore because he doesn't know when to be serious. Sometimes it's necessary to be serious.
He looked like he was going to be serious, but not anymore. Now since he's reunited with his brother Jimmy, now and they're tag
Brother
team
Jimmy.
champions. So hey,
I've heard a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people say that, like looking back at it now, the decision to have him win the Rumble last year didn't age well.
wow. I mean,
Yeah, and especially the decision to have him beat Gunther by making him tap out.
submission. Oh
Yeah,
God.
the sleeper. That
Oh
also didn't
my
age well.
God. I literally want to forget about that now. Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
but in any event, yeah, so the Rumble's going on, and then Cody Rhodes is trying to keep himself from being eliminated. He's like holding on to the top rope. He's trying to put himself back in, kind of like how Shawn Michaels used to do. But as he's attempting to do this, Drew McIntyre out of nowhere shows up and hits him with a Claymore and causes
Yeah.
him to fall out and be eliminated.
I'm telling you what, man. Like of all the Royal Rumble, it's been a while since I've seen a men's Royal Rumble where there's chaos with that included. Just so much going on. And look, a lot of writings on the wall moving forward. I cannot wait for Friday, no, for SmackDown this upcoming Friday. Drew McIntyre interfering and costing Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna spice things up. And Jacob Fatu was actually also distracted by this, and as this went on, he was dunked out of the ring by Roman Reigns. And I was very bummed out when this happened because after Breakker got eliminated, I was thinking maybe they'll give it to somebody like Jacob Fatu. Maybe Jacob Fatu will win. Or even LA Knight. I was thinking LA Knight might have a chance to win, but then he also got eliminated too. So it ultimately came down to the final four of Randy Orton, the douchebag fuck Logan Paul, Gunther, and Roman Reigns.
You know what you know damn well no way in hell Logan Paul is going to win that thing, and
Hell
Roman Reigns
no.
made work of Logan Paul. He eliminates him. Randy Orton RKO's Roman Reigns, but as soon as that happens, Gunther throws Randy Orton over the top rope, and it's just down to Gunther and Roman Reigns.
Yes, and Gunther ultimately gets taken down by Roman Reigns with a spear, and then Roman Reigns ultimately takes him by the head and throws his ass over the top rope. And because of that, Roman Reigns won his second Royal Rumble, this time being for the 2026 one, and he has punched his ticket to WrestleMania. And look, I know a lot of people were very up in arms about this decision. They didn't like the fact that Roman won again, especially considering that he's part time now and this is his first appearance in 2 months. But I will say, despite all of that, this Rumble outcome for him winning turned out a lot better than it did the last time when he won it in 2015.
Oh, I agree. This is a completely different era, different time. And also, yeah, it goes back to what you're saying, how a lot of people are up in arms for it. A lot of people are not saying it no more after what happened this past Monday. At first, at that time, I really wasn't high on him winning. But when I really thought about it, I kind of like, oh, I could see what they could do. I'm all for it.
Yeah, like look, it would have been nice if they gave it to somebody else who needed it more, like somebody new and fresh. That would have been
Hmm.
nice. But I get it with Reigns because they have a story they can tell with him going into WrestleMania. So in that sense, I can't get mad at it. But overall, from Roman winning and Styles having to retire and the rest of the show as a whole, this show overall, I would say, was very mixed bag.
I could give this event a 7.5 out of 10.
I'll probably give it a little lower. I'll give it a 7. And funny enough, ESPN actually gave the show as a whole the grade of a D.
A D? I would have been okay with a
Look, it
C
wasn't.
minus.
Look, it wasn't that bad. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, it could have been better. They did a piss poor job of building it up in the weeks leading up to it. I'll definitely
Yeah,
admit that. But it
yeah.
was a lot better than a D. I think they're being too hard on them. It was a lot
Thank you.
better than a D.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A C minus. Like, okay, you had a AJ Styles versus Gunther was great. Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn was pretty decent, held its own, and look, you had a good Royal Rumble match. It told, just told a lot of stories in this match moving
Yeah.
forward. Who was okay? Who was the max man at attack Bron Breakker? Drew McIntyre attacking Cody Rhodes. So much stuff, writings in this match that you have to find out moving forward. So you don't get a lot of that in Royal Rumble matches. Actually, it's been a while since we've seen stuff like that. I like it for what it was. Me, I thought a D is too low. I would have gave it like a C minus.
Yeah, the men's Rumble match had its moments, but just like, Roman winning after he's like barely been around so much, and
I get
considering
it.
how much he's done over the years, it was a bit of a letdown. And the Rumble, and like just some of the decisions they made throughout the Rumble match were kind of weird, but it still did have its moments. I'll grant it that. Gunther and Styles is obviously the highlight of the whole show.
Yeah.
Sammy and Drew was cool. It was cool, but like I said before, it had no real heat to it. And the women's Rumble, it dragged throughout most of the time it went on, but then the last few minutes really made up for it.
Yeah.
And it had a more satisfying winner than the men's did.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that was your 2026 Royal Rumble show from Saudi Arabia. Mixed bag overall, but it was what it was. And now we move on to the following Monday on Raw. And the show opened with Bron Breakker coming to
Oh,
ringside and raising all kinds of hell. This
wow.
dude
I
flipped
saw.
over the damn this dude flipped over the damn announce table. He starts like getting in Michael Cole's face, getting in Corey Graves' face, asks for a microphone. Didn't say the F word like his uncle did back in Survivor Series '02, but asked for the damn microphone. Demanded that Adam Pearce come out there and confronts him right then and there. The Vision members came out to try to hold him back and restrain him, and it wasn't working. And then Adam Pearce comes out with like all these security guards, like, standing in between him at the front of the aisleway. And he says, like, yo, you drew number 2. That was you who drew that number. I didn't draw it for you. It was you. And
He's
then he
right.
said, I'm
You're
going to
right.
do you. Yeah, then he basically says that, yeah, the last time a masked man in a hoodie showed up, it turned out to be Austin Theory. And
Oh
then he
yeah.
starts looking at Theory all
Good point.
suspiciously.
Good
And
point.
then Adam Pearce says, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna do you a favor. He says, I'm gonna let you keep your job after how piss poor of a performance you put on in the Rumble match. And then Breakker loses his damn mind. After this, he tries to get at Pierce. The security guards are holding him back. The Vision members are holding him back, or whichever ones are outside the ring at least. And as this is going on, LA Knight shows up and lays out Theory and also Logan Paul with a chair, and then escapes before Breakker could get to him.
Crazy way to start the show, man. I'm telling you, man. All
Very
that
crazy way
stuff.
to start the show.
Very like I'm telling you that was so. That's why I like that Rumble match. I like Rumble matches when there's like chaos that's going on, so you could foretell, you continue your storytelling moving forward. Like who was the guy who attacked Bron Breakker? Who was it? Was it potentially could have been Adam Pearce that could have done it? For all
Fuck
we
out of
know.
here.
Oh come on, come on.
The thing I'm gonna say about that whole storyline is this: if it turns out to be anybody else other than Seth Rollins, this whole thing is a waste.
Of course. I mean, we smart enough to know. We kind of know who it is. I mean, come on. Who else would it be? Who else? Come on.
Like if it's Logan Paul or if it ends up being Adam
Oh
Pearce, then that was a waste. Like what they did
no.
with him at the Royal Rumble was for nothing. If it
Yeah.
turns out to be one of those
Trust,
guys,
trust me. I have a feeling I know who it is. So, but
if it turns out to be Seth Rollins and they have Rollins against Breakker at WrestleMania,
yeah,
okay, fine, that
that's
works.
exactly. But I mean, who else would it be other than him? It would be stupid. Wouldn't make any sense. So, but yeah, I like how the way it started, and it was a good way to kick off Raw. It will only get better from here.
Yeah, so later in the night, we did have Penta go one-on-one with Bronson Reed. And as Bronson Reed had the match won, he laid out Penta with a tsunami and he was attempting to get a chair, but the referee was down as this was happening. As he's going for the chair, LA Knight shows up and hits him with the BFT on the chair, and that leads to Bronson Reed getting counted out.
Wow.
Damn, we rarely see count out finishes in WWE that much these days, but in situations like this, I feel like it's well used.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So we're likely going to see LA Knight and Bronson Reed feud over the next few months, possibly face each other at WrestleMania. I could definitely see that as a possibility. And also on Raw, we had the return of Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio,
Yes.
who came out to introduce the winner of the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble, his boo thang, Liv Morgan. And she came out wearing this shirt saying, "Hot women love Dominic Mysterio," wearing these short shorts, getting all kinds of attention. And then she comes into the ring, gives Dominic a big hug, and she's like, gloating about a Rumble win. And then she comes and introduces Raquel Rodriguez, who had a match coming up against Stephanie Becker for the women's world title in a street fight. And then Raquel ends up asking Liv Morgan the question that was on everybody's mind: why did she eliminate her from the Rumble match?
Look, I mean, in her defense, hey, it was every woman for herself. On top of that, you do have a title match that night. But I know, so this is the moment where I started to raise my eyebrow. So, but prior to this, we knew about this match, and you had a funny feeling. We all had a feeling that this could be Raquel Rodriguez's moment to capture the title. The moment when she told Liv Morgan, "I want you to stay in the back. I got this." I knew it wasn't going to work out in Raquel Rodriguez's way in this match. I knew something was going to happen.
Yep. Because in the middle of this damn match, what did Liv Morgan do? She came out and got involved. So she tried to give Raquel the women's title to use as a weapon, but as Raquel's distracted by this, she gets thrown into a chair by Stephanie Becker, and then Becker knocks Liv Morgan off the apron. Roxanne Perez tries to come out a few minutes later to interfere, but then Becker knocks her off the top rope through a table. And then Raquel Rodriguez was about to hit Becker with a Tejana bomb through the table off the top rope, but then Becker reversed it into a Hurricane Rana. Yeah, she reversed it into a Hurricane Rana, and then Stephanie Becker went to the top rope and hit the corkscrew to finish off Raquel, retain her championship, even though I thought there was a strong chance she was going to lose. She still retained her title, but then after the match, Liv Morgan laid her out with the Oblivion, held up the title, and pretty much gave us our answer on who she's going to challenge at WrestleMania. Although she hasn't said it yet, we can pretty much tell what it's going to be.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is going to be so much chaos going in because I'm so curious what's going to happen next Monday on Raw. You got to remember, look, Liv Morgan interfered after she was told don't come, and she came anyway. So, Kurt, we both talked privately about this. I have a feeling, like I said to myself, dude, if Raquel does not win, I could potentially see her versus Liv versus Stephanie in a triple threat for that title at Mania. Because, dude, she interfered and she had an opportunity to win that match. Some other people were saying how Triple H should have pulled the trigger on that spot where Raquel's going to do the Tejana bomb through the table, but didn't happen. That was kind of the moment. Didn't happen, but I'm just so curious what's going to happen next Monday. We specifically told her not to. She specifically told her don't interfere, and she did.
Yeah, she has every right to be pissed off, and she was going to definitely let Liv have it on Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing what the fireworks are going to look like coming out of that situation. But Raquel is definitely going to be involved in this one way or another.
Thank you. Oh my God, yes, I want her to be, and I love Stephanie Valkyr. If it does happen, Kurt, which I hope, I love Stephanie Valkyr. I do. But oh my God, the wild card will be Raquel Rodriguez, and how shocking it would be, and delighted if she did win that match. But that remains to be seen. But Liv Morgan will challenge Stephanie Valkyr for that title at WrestleMania for as of right now.
She said she's going to go to SmackDown Friday to kind of check out Jade Cargill, but from how everything looked in this whole scenario, it's clear that she's going to challenge for the women's world title.
Yeah, that was prior to all this nonsense happening. Huh.
She'll probably still be at SmackDown tomorrow anyway, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I definitely see this as like either being the Kerr against Liv at WrestleMania, or they'll do a 3-way, or maybe they'll do
Anyway,
a 4-way and add Roxanne Perez too.
yeah,
That could
I don't
happen.
know. If Roxanne got, I don't know how that'll happen. I feel like she'll be like the weak link, or the just, I don't know how that happened. But hey,
They could build tension between her and Liv again with Dominic. They could do something like that with
oh,
them in the next few months, and then she could get like added into the mix. Yeah, they could do a lot of things with this in the next 2 months. I have to say, this storyline looks very intriguing, and I'm looking
it
forward to
does.
seeing how they
Yes.
play it out in the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So great
Raw's
match
slowly getting
though.
better. Raw's
But it was a great match.
uh,
I liked it.
that's not the opinion. That's not the opinion of most people who watched it.
I don't care. It was a good match. It was just, I think everybody's bugging out because of the finish. Everybody was bugging out
Well,
about the finish and more about the
it has
match
nothing to do
itself.
with it had nothing to do with that. It was the fact that it kind of went on a little too long. That was one
Uh,
thing about it that people
hmm.
weren't happy with. And also there was just certain parts of the match, like certain spots in the match, like didn't look like they went the way they were supposed to.
Oh, the table didn't give out when Stephanie
Yeah,
fucking.
like the Hurricane Rana
Yeah,
spot.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, look, they definitely beat the hell out of each other. I'm not going to deny that. They
Yeah.
definitely went hard. But yeah, just for whatever reason, like I can't like really say I loved it the way I loved other matches. But it was still fine. Like I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it like everybody else did. But
Hmm.
I can't say that I was like jumping for joy and like saying this is the best match ever from watching
No.
it. But one thing that did have me excited and did have me jumping for joy when I watched it on Raw was the main event segment between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Oh, well, first it was Roman Reigns that was coming out there pretty much to, well, just talk. What are your opinions? Who are you picking for WrestleMania? Who are you going to challenge? Should I challenge? Should he challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, or should he challenge CM Punk? He was pretty much talking about how coming to the city of Philadelphia is like a pretty much like a full circle moment, because if you guys remember, he did win his first Royal Rumble in 2015. He did win his first championship in the city of Philadelphia. And it was a completely different time wherein the crowd did not like Roman Reigns, did not accept Roman Reigns. And now you come full circle. You come in as the Royal Rumble winner, and now you're beloved and acknowledged as your tribal chief. So what was going to be his decision? Drew McIntyre or CM Punk? And before he made that decision, he was interrupted by CM Punk. But it was funny how the way that segment started, because he didn't really go straight after Roman Reigns. He literally went to the camera and pretty much talked about Finn Balor. You could see the look on Roman Reigns' face and pretty much like, why do you just interrupt me so you could talk about somebody else?
Yeah, it was mad disrespectful, but that's Punk for you. That's how he does
Oh,
things.
come on. That's Punk. Come on. Of course.
All right, but in any event, so yeah, Punk basically goes off and calls Roman Reigns basically a guest on his show, which is true because Punk's been the fighting champion these last few months, and
Yeah.
actually been around a lot more than Roman Reigns has been. And then he talked about how like Reigns followed in his footsteps over the last 10 years, and he gave him congratulations that he succeeded, but he still can't do it better than him.
The one thing, the takeaway from that storyline, what I love from Punk is about their title reigns. CM Punk,
Oh yeah,
CM Punk champion for 434 days. Roman Reigns, on the other hand, ch- champion for 1300, and was it 82 or 81?
give or take around that neighborhood, but
Okay,
still
yeah.
1,300 days regardless.
CM Punk had way more title defenses than Roman Reigns. And yeah, I get it. I get it. Roman Reigns, he carried it through COVID and through like those 4 years. But you got to remember something. We both talked about this a long time ago, Kurt. After WrestleMania 39, Roman Reigns' title reign kind of got a little watered down a little bit. And most of his finishes were
Huge.
repetitive. He kept getting help from his cousins, which CM Punk like also related to, because he talked about how Roman was like chiming in talking about how the last time you fought Drew McIntyre, you were all crying about a bracelet, and he's like, well, I beat him in Hell in a Cell. I had him all busted up and everything. And Roman's
Oh
talking.
yeah, I remember what he said. I remember what he said. Like when he was talking about the bracelet, he's like, "Careful, because they had to stitch Drew's ass back together again once I got
Yeah,
finished with him."
Exactly. I love that. But also Roman talked about how take a number. I beat him 3 straight years.
And yeah, and Punk brought up the fact that yeah, you had to use your cousins to beat him every single time,
Exactly.
but I beat him
Exactly.
all by myself.
Look. No disrespect to Roman Reigns' title reign, and no offense to his fans, but I stand strongly when I say this. Though, yeah, Roman Reigns' title reign was longer to CM Punk's though, but overall, Punk's title reign was a little bit better than Roman's because he was at every PLE and he defended the title way more than Roman Reigns did.
Yeah, Punk had the money line from that whole scenario, saying just because your reign was longer doesn't mean it was better.
Thank you. And I'll die on that hill. I don't care what nobody says. Well, he had it longer. Nah, bro. Punk had way more title defenses than Reigns.
Yeah, longer doesn't always mean better. A lot of TV shows last longer than other TV shows, but that doesn't mean it was the better show just because it lasted a few more seasons longer.
Yeah.
Like Fresh Prince lasted only 6 years, but it was still a better show than Family Matters being one example that lasted 9 years and it dragged on those last few seasons.
Mm.
But anyway, that's another story for another time. And then Reigns kind of responds to Punk saying, like, following your footsteps, like when WWE was thinking about bringing you back a few years ago, who do you think they came to talk about it before they decided to sign you back?
Wow.
So like
Wow.
you're only here because of me. Like I allowed you to come back. And then he mentioned the Colt Cabana podcast from 10 years ago, all the things Punk said on that, how like it made his life a lot harder than it had to be because of
You
all the
know
things
what?
he said there.
Yeah, I read about that, and then like, look, in Punk's
I
defense,
heard it. I heard the whole thing. Punk basically said like in that whole thing how like the producers and like the higher ups were always constantly telling him in the matches with the Shield, like you need to make Roman look
strong.
strong. They
Yeah,
would say that religiously. You need to
yeah,
make Roman look strong. And
yeah.
then after like Punk said those things in that interview that led to like the crowd starting to rebel against Roman. And that Royal Rumble like actually happened not too long after that, where the fans booed him after he won. So yeah, that's exactly where all of this came from.
I mean, look, look in Punk's defense. Look, he's pretty much retelling what he was told, but at the same time, it wasn't like he was the one who was trying to push Roman. It was the writers. It was creative that
Management,
was doing it.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
management.
yeah. So you can't really like blame that on Punk. Punk is pretty much retelling of what he was told. But I feel like whenever, mainly with the Shield members, whenever, especially with Seth and now Roman, it's like whenever they have like a segment with Punk, it's like they're revealing their past hatred with Punk. It's like, oh my God, I hate you because you left 10 years ago and you betrayed us. And Roman's like, well, I hate you because you pretty much made my career, my early career, like a living hell. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, because of all that shit he said, like yeah, it caused the fans to kind of reject
Not his
Roman
fault. I'm
essentially. But
sorry.
no, it's not Punk's fault, but like that was like one of the contributing factors to like the fans maybe seeing Roman differently
Yeah.
because of the things Punk said. But in
Mm.
any event, yeah, so the segment goes on, and then Reigns says, I'm not gonna challenge you because you're on the better show and you're on Netflix. I'm not gonna challenge you because you have a title that I never had before. I'm gonna challenge you, quite frankly, because I hate you.
Man, raw emotion right there, man.
And then he said WrestleMania is going to be the best day of his life because that's going to be the day when Punk finally has no choice but to acknowledge him.
And he
And then he just
mic
dropped the
drop
mic,
left,
walked away, and that was all she wrote.
and
Yo,
it
this
official.
segment alone sold the main event for WrestleMania. This segment alone.
Thank you. And Kurt, that segment alone pretty much told me that I have a strong feeling, and we're only in January. Well, February, sorry, February, right? I have a funny feeling, and I'm confident that WrestleMania 42 is going to be better than last year's.
Yeah.
Now, the
And
way things are
already,
shaping up, and also with this match made official, that is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship, I am sold. And I've already made a decision. I think I already told you already. I said like right after the Royal Rumble that I'm gonna go to Sunday. I'm gonna go to night 2.
Great. That's awesome.
Like, dude, like just the it's stuff like this. It's segments like this. Is why I love professional wrestling. So much raw emotion in this segment. And I even put this on Twitter. I don't know if you felt it, but I felt like this Austin versus Rock vibes from WrestleMania 17, where you have two baby faces, and as a fan, you have to pick whose side are you on, man. That's the vibe I was getting, because you got two baby faces going at it for the title. Two great fan bases, so loyal fan bases, one of CM Punk like myself and one of Roman Reigns. And it's going to be 50-50 in that crowd, man. And I can't wait to be a part of it, and I love it. And um I can't wait for it. It was that whole segment was gold.
And that segment wiped away any outrage or any bad feelings anybody had about Roman winning the Royal Rumble.
Thank
You could
you.
have felt your way about it on Saturday, but after that segment, as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
those feelings are all gone. Like I'm sold on this match. I can't wait to see how they build it up over the next few months. And hopefully, fingers crossed, what we saw on Monday with that segment wasn't the peak of the build that we're gonna get.
Thank you.
Because you
And
have to remember, Roman is still part-time. Roman is technically still part-time. So we don't know when we're going to see him again. We don't know if he's going to be on the show next week or not. But if he's on the show more consistently in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania,
he
then I
has to
think
be.
this has all the ingredients to be a successful build.
Look, he has to be. He has to be in order to tell the story, in order to sell. I mean, they already did with the segment, but you have to keep selling if you're gonna. You have to show up. And also, dude, I'm already thinking about WrestleMania, but we still have Elimination Chamber. It's like I
Oh
completely
yeah.
just jumped over Elimination Chamber, and I'm already thinking about Mania already. That's how good that segment was. And as far as Drew McIntyre, bro, you're looking at that, you pretty much got buried when you kind of like look in depth into that segment. You got buried by two guys. He better come out on SmackDown swinging, and you better deliver a monster promo regarding his situation with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, man. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this coming Friday on SmackDown. But man, this segment alone, dude, is just, oh my God, I love it. Whose side are you
Yeah, it was
on, man?
exact. Yeah, this segment was exactly the kind of heat and exactly the kind of like spice up that the show's been missing. Like we were missing like segments like this, like really heated, intense, very personal back and forth promos like this. It's exactly what the show's been needing. And we finally got it on Monday. And fingers crossed we get it a lot more in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because yes, this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest main event for WrestleMania we've seen in recent memory.
And one last takeaway before we jet off. This is going to be the fourth time that the World Heavyweight Championship will be in the main event of WrestleMania. And here's another interesting takeaway. The last three times the championship was defended, the champion lost that title.
And the main event, that's right,
Yes.
that did happen.
Yeah. So the last
And I have
World
to
Heavyweight
say,
Championship match was back in 2008, WrestleMania 24, Edge versus Undertaker. So that segment alone really solidified that championship. Like, this is the number one prize in the business now. Because before that, we had second thoughts about, oh, is the title important? No, that segment made that title more important than the WWE Championship.
and honestly, another thing to mention, Punk's been doing a great job making that title feel important with the title defenses he's been having
Yeah.
recently. So that's also been a factor in it. And I have to say, this match is already feeling like a bigger deal than either title match was last year.
Thank you. A major upgrade from last year. You had, no offense,
Huge.
Gunther. I mean, yeah, Gunther was the champion though, but it was going against Jey Uso. That buildup was kind of a little bit though, but this is a
Now, the
major
build-up was
upgrade.
pretty good.
Yeah, it was
The
okay
build-up for that
though.
was still pretty good, but it wasn't a match. It wasn't like a match that we really wanted on paper, but they still had a pretty good build-up.
Yeah,
But this is next
major up,
level. This is next level
major
shit.
upgrade. Oh my God, major upgrade. I can't wait.
Yeah. Hopefully they can, keep this consistent as far as the build goes going into WrestleMania. Because yeah, this is definitely a match I cannot wait for.
This is a match that honestly, as a fan, I was wanting ever since Punk came back to the WWE. 3 years ago. And I'm telling you, dude, this is giving me Austin versus Rock vibes from WrestleMania 17.
I love that post that you put up from this the other day on the page about this whole scenario with the whole survival of the fittest song from Mobb Deep playing in the background. Genius.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but this is exactly the big major title match we've been needing and needing to have a build up for the longest time. Like the last few PLEs haven't really had that, but we're finally gonna get it for WrestleMania this year, and I am all in.
And Lord willing,
No AEW.
fingers. Yeah, Lord willing. Yeah, I'm already said like I'm going on Sunday. There's no way in hell. Like it makes up for last year. Like I felt bad that I didn't go last year, but I think the signs were pointing at like God was giving me another chance for me to make up for last year, because I have to make up for this, because I didn't go to WrestleMania last year. I didn't go to Raw the following Monday. I didn't go to Survivor Series on my birthday. I have to go to WrestleMania this year. Have to.
Yeah, no bigger match for you to watch than that one for
Thank you.
WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah, so the
That would
road
be
to
great if you
WrestleMania
came
isn't.
though. It would be great if you came though. But
I got that music festival coming up. I can maybe see
oh
if I can make something happen, but that
yeah,
music festival is a much bigger priority to me this year.
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, but in any event, yes, we have the road to WrestleMania. It is in full swing. And before we get out of here, that show WWE Unreal, the second season did drop a few weeks ago. I did watch it personally, and I will say that you're not really missing anything if you don't watch it. But one thing that did stand out about it that people have been talking about ever since was something that Michael Hayes said about Chelsea Green when they were talking to Chelsea Green and documenting her. Michael Hayes basically said that Chelsea Green's like not on the same level as the top girls like Charlotte, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, etc. And basically said like her only purpose and like her only real role is to make the other women look good.
That's messed up, man. You got to put your confidence in your talent, and it's all about putting your faith into your talents. Like, come on, she's a former women's U.S. champion, correct?
Two time.
And you're saying that there's nothing you do with her? Come on, that's a messed up thing to say. I've always been saying for the creative, and I'm just now saying this now. I think you need to get more younger creative in there.
Yeah, get rid of Michael Hayes, get rid of Bruce Pritchard. Yeah, we need some new fresh faces.
Younger.
Yeah, because that was just a bad take, son. And Chelsea Green even went off on him when she talked about it a few days ago. She basically said how upset and frustrated she was that somebody that she worked with like actually said that about her, and the fact that she always wanted to keep the hope alive that she could eventually reach the next level and progress to the next level, and to have like one of the people in charge of her like literally say that she won't and that she's not capable of it. Yeah, it's a punch to the gut.
It is slap to the face, man. Especially when you're putting a lot of hard work in what you're doing, and you're being told that doesn't really have it what it takes.
You're not good
I
enough.
don't know, man. That show's not good, man. It reveals a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be said. But hey, you know, mm,
Yeah, just a dumb take by Michael Hayes. He wasn't even drunk when he said it, as far
no,
as I know.
no,
But yeah, just a ridiculous take, and yeah, he deserves to be called out for it. Yeah, and I hope Chelsea Green ends up progressing to that next level, becomes the women's world champion at some point, and she rubs it in his face.
hey,
Yeah, and also, and getting into other news, Ava, who was the general manager on NXT for the last couple years, also the daughter of The Rock, she announced last week that she will not be renewing her contract, and she is now done with WWE.
oh wow, okay,
And she wasted no time after, announcing that she's not re-signing with WWE to let out some of her views on the whole political situation going on in this country. As she said in a tweet that she's finally able to say this out loud with a full chest: fuck ICE and this whole administration.
or ice out in the words of Bad Bunny at the Grammys.
Yeah, so Yeah, I can definitely see why she maybe didn't want to resign with them because of their whole association with Trump. And not to mention, they released her girlfriend a few weeks ago. Her girlfriend was also signed by
Mm,
WWE, and they released her recently.
mm.
So yeah, she's done, and apparently she's gonna go work in her um parents' new studio that they started.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, apparently The Rock and Danny Garcia were starting like a new studio, and apparently she's gonna go work there. That's fine. She's 24 years old. She wasn't really trying to be a wrestler anyway. She like wanted to just be more of the GM for NXT. And now that her contract's up and she's still young and wants to do more with her life, yeah, it's fair. She can go explore and
Good
not be
for her.
tied down to one place and live her life.
Good for her.
Yeah, but that Grammys last Sunday, no lie, bro. I said it on my Facebook post the other day. That wasn't the Grammys. That was a damn fuck ice rally from start to finish.
I mean, could you blame him? I mean, come on, everybody had emotions, especially what's been going on the past, month or so. You know what I mean? So you can't blame them for saying it, and yeah, they let their opinions out of how they felt, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, this whole ice thing is definitely fucked up on so many levels. Just to have these dudes like targeting random people and like saying, "Where's your papers? Where's your papers?"
Not
and
only that,
throwing them into these damn cages.
the children too.
Yeah,
That,
that
that
too.
that's the one that bothers me the most. Like you pretty much are taking children away from your families, and that what really bothers me. But just outside of that, the highlights of that night was, of course, Kendrick Lamar ending the night with the most Grammys by a rapper, surpassing Jay Z with 25 awards.
Although I'm happy for Kendrick, I'm happy that he broke that record. I do feel the Clip should have won album of the year. I'm sorry, not album of the year, best rap album. They should have won instead
Yeah,
of
your
Kendrick.
friend was
But
saying the same thing.
it
That
is.
album was dope. That was a dope
It was
album. It
great.
was. It was. I need to listen to it again, but that was a dope album. I'm glad that it came back though. But yeah, he won best rap album, record of the year, and did he win another one, or you just won two that night? Or
Kendrick.
yeah,
I think he won four at least because they said he needed four to surpass Jay Z. So I'm sure he won at least four.
okay. But the highlight of the night, my boy Benito Bad Bunny, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. He came out on top, man. Of course, he won Grammy for Best Urbano Latino Album. He won, and also more importantly, he won Album of the Year. That was the one that I wanted the most out of all, making the first Latin recorded album to win a Grammy for Album of the Year. That is amazing. I'm not Latino though, but hey, this is a W for all Latinos.
Yeah, I'm thrilled for him. I'm thrilled for the whole community. He definitely earned it with
Yeah,
how global of a star he is, all the Spotify streams he gets, all that good stuff. Yeah, he's definitely a huge
yeah,
star, regardless of what anybody else says that hates on him. And yeah, I was thrilled for him.
yeah. Now this and
Yeah,
now the
just
Super
a
Bowl halftime show, and it's just crazy how 10 years ago he's working at a grocery store, and now 10 years later you won a Grammy for Best Album of the Year. That's like a motivation where, hey, keep reaching for your dreams, man.
it's never too late. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
never too late. And congratulations to Bad Bunny for holding it down, winning the Album
congratulations.
of the Year Grammy. I
Oh
cannot wait for her Super Bowl performance on Sunday.
yeah,
I'm
dang,
definitely not watching that. I'm not watching that bullshit show that Kid Rock and Trump are trying to put on. I
hell
could
no.
give two fucks about those assholes and the people
Oh,
who defend them. But yeah, it's gonna be popping Sunday. I'm not even giving two shits about the game. I just want to watch that damn halftime show.
look, I just want a good game. I don't care who wins, honestly, though. But yeah, I'm all in for the halftime show, man. And I have a funny feeling it's going to be one of the greatest. Along, I think my personal favorite, I would say Michael Jackson, though. But that Prince halftime show hit differently, man. I don't know if you ever seen that one though, but Prince's
Yeah, I
halftime
saw it. It
show,
was dope.
yeah,
That
that
was
that
dope
that
too.
one, ooh. But I have a feeling that Benito's going to put on the show, and I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward
Ooh,
to what guests he's going to have.
maybe Cardi B will be there because
I was hearing,
her boyfriend's in the game, so maybe
yeah,
she'll make a cameo.
I was hearing. I hope
Stick it
Daddy
to Nicki
Yankee.
Minaj.
I hope Daddy Yankee or J Balvin makes an appearance too, though. But yeah, I'm all for it, and I can't wait for it, man.
Yeah, reggaeton getting love on the biggest stage possible.
Oh
I
yes,
remember when reggaeton kind of first came out, like when I was still in high school, like around the time I graduated, actually, like in 2005. I remember when it first, like, started to, build momentum and get attention. And now it's getting the Super Bowl halftime show.
it's
Beautiful
just
thing,
it's.
son.
I've got into that music because of my friend, and I told myself, like, man, if I went back in time and told myself 15 years ago that you're gonna like just be in love with this music, I would have been like, bro, really? You know what I mean? And I love this music because it just because of the people who I hung out around, and it made me comfortable to listen to it to the point where this genre is like a second nature to me, to the point where it's like I'm listening to it as much as every other genre that I like to the point where if there's an artist that I like, I will go see that person perform. I even went to a Latin reggaeton festival here in Vegas about 3 years ago. That's how much I love that music. And to see that genre on the big stage of the Super Bowl at the halftime show, that means a lot to me.
Yeah. And I'm glad they're finally getting this moment. I got into like Latin music and Spanish music kind of when I was a kid because I lived with my grandmother and she would always listen to it nonstop. She would
Mm.
even watch the soap operas and everything and whatnot, have parties and like play that stuff nonstop and be dancing.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, appreciate it back then, but now that I've gotten older, I really appreciate it a lot more, especially since my grandmother's not here anymore. Like
Yeah.
anytime I hear one of those songs, it makes me think of her. It makes me think of like,
Mm.
growing up in her house. So
Yeah.
like now I definitely especially have a lot more of an appreciation for it.
Oh yeah. You just now you got to go
Yeah,
to a concert now.
oh yeah, definitely. I will go to a
Yeah.
concert. I go to the clubs all the time. They
Yeah.
always like most of the clubs I go to have like a Latin room or two Latin rooms. So yeah,
Mm.
there's never a shortage.
Oh yeah. I know it's always crowded.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy that he like, made the statement that he did. I'm sure he's gonna make an even bigger statement at the Super Bowl with the whole ICE thing going on right now. And yeah, to all the people who like, try to defend that bullshit, try to justify that bullshit, you should all be ashamed of yourselves and be ashamed of the person you support, that being the douchebag we call the president.
Exactly.
All right, but enough of that. So, my brother, is there anything else you want to get into today?
Oh man, just I can't wait for WrestleMania. I can't believe I'm actually talking about that over Elimination Chamber. We still got Elimination Chamber later this month in Chicago.
Yeah,
And
we'll probably get at Elimination Chamber. We'll probably get CM Punk and Finn Balor in a rematch,
yeah,
especially considering that it's going to be in Chicago.
yeah.
And also, we'll probably get another chamber match to decide who's going to challenge for the WWE title at WrestleMania. And either Cody or Jacob Fatu or both of them will win, and they'll turn into a triple threat.
I love
And
that.
then and we'll get a women's one also, a women's one to decide who will challenge for the women's title at WrestleMania. Maybe Bianca will be back for that, or maybe end up being Jordan Grace who faces Jade Cargill at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
But yeah, we're officially on the road to WrestleMania. Of course, it is Super Bowl week. I can't wait for that this Sunday. And yeah, to everybody else, stay safe and also, subscribe to our social media, Twitter, Instagram. Also, find us on Spotify. We're also available on YouTube as well. And more importantly, if you've had any inquiries or questions about anything, any topics wrestling related, email us at champsclash.pod@gmail.com.
Yeah, holler at us. Let us know what you think. And until next time, for John Rattle, my podcast partner, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of Clash of Champions. Take care. Enjoy Super Bowl weekend. Have fun. Get fucked up, but not too fucked up to the point where you're making dumb decisions. And most of all, don't be an asshole in real life or social media, because that toxic bullshit is for the birds and Nicki Minaj too.
Oh, and that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe, stay blessed, and always stay adventurous.
Especially in the bedroom. Have a good one.